This is the Canvas training, and today's session, along with all the other training sessions that we're offering this week, are being recorded, and you will have the option to review those again. Due to the large number of participants that may be in this session, the moderator has muted your microphone. And if you have questions, we'd ask you to use the chat feature located at the bottom of the screen to send your questions, and we'll compile those, and then the presenter will answer those at the end of the session. I want to start today's session by sharing some information that we're including in all the training sessions. So if you're brand new to remote or online teaching, we recommend that you visit and explore the resources on the K-State Keep Teaching website at ksu.edu/keep teaching. The Preparing and Planning page under the Remote Teaching and Learning Resources tab has a checklist of steps to get you started. The homepage of the website also includes getting started checklists for students and faculty. I'm going to provide you a link in the chat box here in a moment after we get started. As we rapidly transition our classes to using various remote teaching options, we want to encourage you to keep things as simple as possible. The session is going to focus on practical steps that you can implement right away. If you have additional questions after today's session, please send them to gcid@kstate.edu. This email address is being monitored by the Global Campus Instructional Design Team, and all inquiries will be responded to as quickly as possible. You can also contact the IT Help Desk by telephone at 785-532-7722 or email at helpdesk@ksu.edu. I'll also share this information in the chat box below here in a moment. Please check out the K-State Keep Teaching Training Sessions page to see if there are other sessions that can provide you with helpful information as you transition to remote teaching. I'm going to provide another link in the chat box that is the K-State Keep Teaching Training information. And again, not knowing how many people will be in this session, we're going to moderate your mute your microphones. And then if you have a question, please type that in the chat box located at the bottom of the screen, and Trina will get to those and we'll try to address everyone's question quickly as we can. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Trina.
Okay, Janice, thanks. And I will be using you, Janice, to keep me informed on the chat box because I'll be sharing my screen. So I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. My name is Trina McCarty, and I am an instructional designer with Global Campus. I'm going to go ahead and give you my personal EID, which is my first name, Trina, T-R-I-N-A, at ksu.edu. Of course, like Janice said, the best way to reach us would be the GCID at ksu.edu because both Laura Widener and I answer that. So that way, if one of us is not available, gets ill, something like that, we will be monitoring that with multiple people. So today, I just wanted to give an overview that we're going to just be covering the basics. I want to keep this as simple as possible. I'm kind of making some assumptions here that if you're coming into a training session for a Canvas overview that you don't have online teaching experience and that you're relatively new to Canvas, maybe you're just opening your Canvas course for the first time this term. So like I said, we want to keep it simple. We are not striving for perfection here. We want to get your students the information they need, and so we're going to go over how to create a simple, well-organized course. A lot of the tools within that, of course, are discussed more in depth if you want to check back to the remote teaching training sessions. So if you find that this is too basic, I hope you'll stay and listen if you want the review, but also look back at the other training sessions. And we will be doing this one again at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And like Janice said, it'll also be taped and recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and start by sharing my screen with you all. And I'm going to go to Canvas. And right here, most of you, when you enter Canvas, you're going to see your dashboard. And I want you to pay particular attention to the very far left-hand side. There's kind of a muted purple or grayish bar on the far left. And like I said, we are in the dashboard right now. That's the area I'm in. If you're not there, you can click on dashboard and reload that. Also in this area, at the bottom on the left, I want to make you familiar with this help, the question mark help at the bottom. This is your friend. If you are new to Canvas and have questions, we are here to help you, but this is a 24/7 way to find a lot of answers. So if, of course, there's K-State specific information, links to the help desk, that type of thing. But the thing I want to focus on here is search the Canvas guides. So if you go to this site, you can really find anything here. So maybe you want to know about how to create a quiz. This will give information for both students and faculty. So this is just a quick, all I did is search for the word quiz. So you can see the amount of information that might come up there. Of course, you can make your search topic much more specific if you would like specific information. So again, I just wanted to call that to your attention for now as a great tool to use. You'll also, beyond the help, I also wanted to bring your attention, let's see, to dashboard and courses. We'll go ahead and go on. Most of you, if you have a spring course, those were automatically set up. The only exception for that is if you have a 900 level or above course, then you will want to contact the help desk if you want a Canvas shell made up for that. Otherwise, you should have a shell at least for all of the courses that you're offering this term. If for some reason on your dashboard you are not seeing your course, what you can do is go to courses on the far left, right below dashboard. Scroll down till you see all courses. And then from your list of all courses, you'll want to find the one you want, and then you'll just highlight into the star. And once you highlight it, that means it's adding to your favorites, or it will show up on your dashboard. In the interest of time, if that is not working for you, will ask that you contact the help desk directly and they can help you with that. But I think in most cases, it will be there for you. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I've just created a blank shell for myself, so it'll look similar to what you have as a shell. And basically, if you haven't been in here yet, it's just going to look like this. It's just going to be empty. And it wants you to take some type of action. So some of you might have taught or had some content in previous courses, or maybe a colleague has provided you permission to use their course content and added you to their course. So if you have something out there already in Canvas, you can go ahead and bring that in. And I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to have you slide down again. We talked about the left navigation for Canvas being in this purple gray bar, but then each course is going to have its own navigation here on the left. I'm going to have you slide all the way down until you see settings and click on settings. And then we also have right navigation in Canvas. So on the right side, you'll see import course content. I'm going to go ahead and go there and show you this process. So under content type, we're going from Canvas to Canvas. So we're going to copy a Canvas course. Now, when you search for your course, you can search by about anything that defines that course. It can be the course name. It can be the term that it's in. It can be just a word. So maybe you teach a course with the word English in it. You start typing English, those will show up. If you know like a specific class number, if you know the 5-digit code, you can start typing that in. It will sort that way. If it was maybe your spring of 2019 class or somebody else's that you want to pull in that you have permission for, then you can even type a term in there. So I'm going to find one that I created and choose it. Now on the content, if you have a complete empty course like I just showed you, you are more than happy to pull in all content, and that should be just fine. However, if you have already started uploading some files, your syllabus, a few things, then you might want to just select specific content so that nothing gets overridden. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. Also, in adjust events and due dates, rather than trying to shift due dates and keep up with that, we recommend removing the dates and then manually adding those back in, just so you don't miss anything. And sometimes when things are pulled in, maybe the due dates were a year ago or a month ago, and so it doesn't work very well. So if you remove the dates, then you can just go ahead and manually set those as you go. So I'm going to click on import here. And I've got a couple of these, but this is the newest one. So now I'm going to go to select content again. And here you can see that I can pull in numerous things. If I want to pull in all these categories together, I can. Like I could pull all my modules in. However, if you click on this down arrow, then you can really get into just, you know, a couple of basic things here. So I'm just going to pull one module in, which is still a group of information since it's a module. You'll see what I mean here in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and select that content. And you can see now it's queued. So we're waiting, it's running. It'll take just a little bit and then it will say completed and it will pull into the course. So whereas before when I was at the home screen, I had that basic screen with nothing in it. Now I have this module because I've pulled it in from that other course and it's ready and available. One thing you might note right away is the green check marks. Those green check marks mean that this information is published. So you're getting started is a module. This module is kind of an umbrella over all the information under it. So right now, if I unpublish getting started, then that would actually unpublish the entire module. Even though these check marks are there, this controls everything under it. In the same manner, your course has a publish and unpublish option over in the right-hand corner. So under course status here, you see unpublish and publish. Right now, this is unpublished, is red, publish is green. So when I came in here, I forgot to reverse this, but typically when you come in here, if you've never used it before, it's going to be an unpublished mode. Your status, if you change it to publish, at this point, remember that we are already partway into the semester. So as soon as you publish that course, then it will become available to students. So you'll want to really think about when you want to hit that publish button. It'd be nice if it was in the next few days so that your students would be able to communicate and know, but don't do it till you're ready and you're prepared for it. So, all right. So again, talking about, well, we went over importing previous content or importing course content. And we're going to also talk about a little later about creating content from scratch. But before I do that, I think one of the most important things right now is communicating with your students. We're all a little bit nervous as staff and faculty at K-State, so you can imagine our students are probably really nervous about what this means for them and how they're going to be guided through this. So I want to call your attention to a few communication tools within Canvas. First of all, going back to that far left navigation, this is going to take me out of the course, but I want to show you. So you may or may not have a profile picture here. That's fine either way, but you should see the word account there. And towards the top of that list, you'll see notifications. If you click on notifications, then this, excuse me, this will tell you all the ways you can be notified by Canvas. And at the top, you can see what each of these means. So the check mark means that it notifies me right away. The the clock says send daily summary, the calendar says weekly summary, the X says do not send me anything. So for example, on this goes to my email address on the left-hand side here. The push notifications for all devices, if you have Canvas on your cell phone, for example, or another device, then that's what that information is for. So you can see I have a lot of checks that are notifying me right away. If you feel like you are not being notified enough, or if you feel like you're being notified too much, this is the place where you want to change. Also, if you hear from your students that they are not getting notifications or getting too many notifications, you can guide them here, or you can simply refer them to the help desk if that's more comfortable for you. Okay, so that's notifications. Also, in this far left navigation, you'll see something called the inbox. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So the inbox is basically your email within Canvas. You'll see up here you can choose courses, and you'll see in the inbox you can choose inbox, send. So it's very similar to the style of any type of email. Again, like most emails, it will have a little pencil and paper, so that's how you compose a new message. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. So you're all going to have probably multiple courses, most likely. So in order to get to your course, this favorite, well, we talked about favoriting for the dashboard when you start it. So this is your list of favorited courses. You can see my sample shell that I'm working is there. I'm going to go ahead and go to a course that actually has students in it, populated. It's an old one, but that's okay. And when you go to the two, it allows you to choose, do you want to email other teachers within that course, all the students, or student groups? And I'm not going to get into the student grouping right now, but I just want to make sure you knew that that was available, so you could also contact like your GTA and another teacher, that kind of thing, using this tool. You enter your subject line as you would for any type of email, and you will just type the text here. In the bottom left-hand corner, you might note that you can also add an attachment. So if you have a file or something, maybe your syllabus, you want to attach to it, you can do that. It'll open your File Explorer. You choose what you want to attach. It goes on there. And then also, if you would like to use this function next to the attach, next to the paperclip, you'll see a little play sign where you can record an audio or video comment. And so you can also record media right there, microphone and or webcam. Excuse me, you can also upload media by choosing a file select similar to the way we did the syllabus. So those are all options. I'm going to go ahead and cancel since I don't want to send that, but I wanted to show you how to do it. Okay, so two communication tools so far, your notification settings and the inbox. I also want to now go back into my course shell. So I'm going to go back out to my dashboard and go to my shell. Of course, you can also choose courses for the list of courses and go to it that way as well. So now that we're back into the course, another communication tool I'd like to show you is announcements. You can create announcements as often as you like. I think they're very helpful for students. Some instructors like to send out an announcement weekly. Some maybe twice a week. Maybe you want to start, by welcoming them to the week. I'm trying to remember. I think we are in about week 8 right now. And so this week, we will, and maybe you highlight a few things you want to read, and you want to have them write something. And so also within this is a rich text editor that it opens up, and then you'll see this throughout Canvas. Whenever you create a new page or something, you will see this rich text editor. And you'll see you have your usual functions like is similar to Word and other word processors, where you have bold, italics, indentations, bullets, all kinds of things. Also, maybe I want to make each one of these items a header. I can choose a header style on each of these and go through and make this look nice and organized for the students. You can attach a file if you'd like. One option that I really like in announcements is the delay posting. So like I said, maybe you want to do a weekly summary or a weekly opening. So if this is week 8, but maybe I'd retitle this, and maybe this is actually week 10. I want to go ahead and set it up now. So I'm going to delay posting, and I'm going to have this go out Sunday night. And I can even put in the exact time if I'd like. So maybe I want this to go out at 8:00 p.m. on Sunday night of that week. Okay. And that's about as far as I'm going to go into this tool for now, the announcement tool for now. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So it's in announcements. Now, as you know, I had pulled in a module from a previous course, so I have some information in here. But I created that announcement in announcements, so now I'm going to go ahead and put in modules. Modules is really what we suggest as far as organizing your course. You could really have everything in your course within modules if you'd like. I think this is one of the simplest, easiest approaches for you and your students. So right now I have a Getting Started module. I'm going to go ahead and pull in that announcement. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an announcement. Sorry, I will get there in a moment. Announcements will come out automatically or as scheduled. Wasn't thinking through that quite right. Okay, next, since we're still talking about communication with students, then I want to talk about your syllabus because, of course, that is kind of the tool that every student expects to follow as they get into a course. They want to see that syllabus up front and know what's happening. So you have probably found out by now that you're going to have to modify your syllabus in some way, maybe not. So there's different ways that you can upload or use a syllabus in Canvas. I'm going to go over all 3 ways quickly now. So again, over on the left, navigation within your course, there is actually a syllabus link that you can navigate to. If you would like to use this tool, I want to let you know it's available. When you get in here, right now it's under course summary. The only thing here is a survey, and that's because when I pulled in those modules, I had an assignment or a task. So the positive of using the syllabus navigation in Canvas is that it will create a page and then it will be followed directly by this course summary, which outlines all the assignments, anything that has a due date on it. So in order to use this, you would click on Edit. And again, here's that rich text editor. If you would like, you could open your syllabus in its current status, so maybe it's in Word, and go ahead and copy and paste that. Now, I will warn you ahead of time, there might be some formatting issues that you'll have to deal with, so you might have to do some reformatting to use this tool. So that's the negative of it. Again, the pro is that this course summary will be available at the bottom. So that's one way to put your syllabus in Canvas. Okay, another way, I'm going to go ahead and go to that modules. If I want my syllabus in Getting Started, I'm just going to hit this plus sign right next to that module. And I'm just going to upload a file. So when it says add, I'm going to add a file. And this is assuming that you have syllabus on your desktop or stored in a file locally that you can grab and pull in. So I'm going to go to this file. It's a new file. And then I get this choose file, which you're probably used to, some kind of upload like this in most systems. If you choose file, it's going to open your file explorer. Mine's on my desktop, but maybe yours is in a shared drive or somewhere else, and you can find that out there. So I'm going to grab this syllabus. I double clicked it, or you can click it and hit open. And also this indentation, just like it sounds, since the modules looks like a course outline, then you can indent up to 3 levels in. I'm going to go ahead and indent all the way so you can see what that looks like. and I'm going to add this item. Now when I add this item, it's going to go down to the bottom here. And you can see it's quite a bit indented because I use indent 3 times. But I don't really want it at the bottom. I really want that at the top. So what I'm doing is I'm using my cursor and I'm covering those 8 dots, and you can see how it turns to a cross there. And then when you do that, you can drag it around the page, okay? So there's my syllabus. It's a Word document, but it will open within Canvas. You can see it right here on the page. And if students like to, they can also download it so they have their own copy to save locally as well. Okay. The third option for a syllabus, or anything you want to create really, is to create your own page. So if you go over here to pages, you can do it that way. Or I'm going to go ahead and do it within the module again. So I'm going to go ahead and add a page. So I'm going to change this to page. I'm going to choose a new page. And I'm going to call it syllabus. I'm not going to indent this time. I'm going to go ahead and add that item. Again, it populates at the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and drag it up now so I don't have to do it later. So I'm going to put it right at the top here. So it is just creating it by topic. There's really nothing on the page. So you have to go back to the link, click on it. Now we're going to go ahead and edit it. We're going to write into it. Again, same rich content editor you're seeing throughout. Okay, so we're going to give some information about the instructor. We are going to give information about textbooks, assignments, the main components of a syllabus. Again, you can use the headers that are built within to create some change in fonts and things. And once we're done, we're going to go ahead and save. We can either save it, or we can go ahead and save and publish. And I kind of like the save and publish feature, especially if you're working before the course itself is published, because then you won't forget to publish it later. So that's what this page would look like to the students. It's an HTML page, so it's very accessible to students. I'm going to go back out to the home or to the modules now. And you can see it here. And again, that's what it looks like when you're inside of it. So I've kind of been using the term modules, and I'm sorry if you aren't familiar with that, but modules is really what we like to use to organize a course. Some instructors choose to do files or pages or some other format, but the students are most used to the module organization format. So again, with that idea of keeping it simple and getting students what they need, then this is our recommendation. Beyond a getting started module or a welcome, whatever you want to call that, sometimes it's read me first, read me now, different types of things. A lot of instructors use something like week 1, week 2, week 3, or unit 1, unit 2, maybe by chapter if you are really following a text and that kind of thing. But whatever you choose for your different modules, then you'll want to make it well organized and self-explanatory to students. So again, here's the getting started with all these pages, files, different things in. You can use these arrows on the side to expand and collapse any of your modules. So to make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to go ahead and add a module here, and we're going to go ahead and add week 8 as a module. Okay. Now you can see again, this module is not published right now, so we would have to click that in order for students to see it. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip to that idea of student view real quick. So while I have you here, I'm going to go ahead and unclick that again. And if I go to student view right now, which the student view you can see on the right hand side, it looks like a pair of glasses. I'm going to click on that. And you can see that whole getting started. but you cannot see a second module anywhere. Okay, I'm going to leave student view. I'm going to publish week 8, go back to student view, and now week 8 is there for them. So if you ever have that question of, I'm getting confused, what can my students see and not see, please use that student view. It's a very helpful tool within Canvas so you can check out what they are seeing. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, you're seeing what they are seeing. We'll get to those in a minute. So now that I've talked about communication and organization overall a bit, I'm going to go ahead and add a few things within this week 8 module. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and add, we talked about pages already because we did that as a syllabus, but let's go ahead and add a new page. And it's okay if the page is named the same thing as the module if you'd like, or it might be better to add a little bit more to it. So again, we're going to, like I did before, we're going to talk about week 8 and we're going to say this week we will. And this is just an example. You can use pages however you want. So I'm going to save and publish that so we have a page there. Going back out to our modules. Besides pages, there's a lot of other things that you've seen on this drop down that we can add. So the next thing I'm going to do is a discussion. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say, we're going to title this Remote Courses, because that might be a discussion that you want to have with your students. So again, once I create, then you just have to click into it to edit it and write in it. So maybe I'm going to say, what are your concerns about courses being offered remotely? I'm sure that would be a prompt that would offer a lot of discussion. So we'll try that one. Again, you can attach a file if you'd like to. Maybe your discussion is about an article that you read or something and you want to include that. That's fine. You can choose to include an attachment there. On the options, I would recommend that you allow threaded replies. Threaded replies allows like the main subject and then it kind of offsets the threaded replies and it keeps them organized, so it's a helpful tool. On users must see before seeing replies. So down here it says that discussions can be graded. If you choose to have a discussion be graded, depending on the situation, in most cases I would suggest that you do the users must post before seeing replies. So if you're asking a question and you want an original thought, then maybe you want them to compose that before they have any other influence. If you don't check this, they'll be able to read all the classmates that have posted to date before supplying their own reply. I'm going to skip over podcast feed and the others for now. There are more discussions on the rubric on the schedule of training, so I'll let them cover these in more detail. I'm going to go ahead and click on graded though, just to make sure you understand that discussions can be graded or ungraded. So if you want to supply a grade for this discussion, I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 points here. There are other options. So if you want to do something besides points, you can do by percentage, complete, incomplete, those choices. I think most of our instructors do points, so I'm going to leave it there. Again, I'm not going to go over a lot of the peer review and things like that, but let's go ahead and put a due date on this. So I'm going to make it due the 21st right before midnight. I'm going to go ahead and make it available now. Now on the until, you have a couple choices here. You can make it due exactly on the date that it's due. I mean, you can allow access until then, Or maybe you want to go ahead and allow them access for another week. What that does, it will allow the students to still respond to that discussion, but it will, in the gradebook, it will show that it's late. So if you have a late policy, you want them to go ahead and participate in the discussion, but maybe you want to discount their grade, you can still do that. Okay, I'm going to save and publish that. Again, I'm going to go back out to modules. So now you can see in week 8, we have a page and we have a discussion. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to go ahead and add an assignment. So we're going to do a new assignment. We're just going to call this a paper 1. We're going to add that item. Going to go ahead and click on it to edit. Okay. And here you're going to put a description. Say this is a paper that you want uploaded. We're going to give the description of how many words, maybe APA format or whatever type of format you want, those kinds of things. So you're going to give them the full description of your expectations for that. Maybe this is worth 50 points. Now submission type. So right now, most of the submissions we're going to be doing online. I said this was a paper. That's what I had in mind. So if it's a short essay, you could allow for text entry right in the system. That's fine. They would get a rich content editor just like you have up above, and they could go ahead and copy and paste and put it in there. And that's one way to do it. However, if you're asking them for like a formatted paper with double spacing and those types of things, then you're probably going to want to do a file upload. And you can even restrict the types of files that you want here. So if you want it in a Word document, then you could restrict it to Word document. You also have choices if you want something recorded. Maybe you have assigned students to do an audio recording or a short video, then you can also allow them to upload media recordings. Website URL, maybe you're allowing them to put those videos on YouTube and you want them to just give you the URL where it is. So you have lots and lots of choices of how to submit online. The no submissions and things like that would be more for your face-to-face course where they bring it to you in class, but you want it in the gradebook, you want the due dates in Canvas. You have the same idea here, due dates, available dates, the same as we had in the discussion, so I won't cover that again. Okay. One last thing, or a couple more things, I guess. Got assignments. How about a quiz? So we're going to create a quiz. And Canvas calls all assessments like that a quiz, whether it's an exam or a final or a midterm, they're all quizzes in this system. So we're going to choose a new quiz. Oops, I didn't name it. That's okay. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to edit it again. And I can change the name of that quiz right here. So I'm just going to say it's our first quiz. Again, you can give any kind of a description here that you would like. The same with the other assignments, then you can, here on the quizzes, then you have different options like shuffling the answers so that if students would be taking the same quiz, the answers would be shuffled. They wouldn't know if it was A, B, or C, it would be the answer. You can limit it to a certain amount of minutes for time. If this is a low stakes assignment or a practice quiz, you can allow multiple attempts, how many attempts, keep the highest score, average score, however you want to do that if you do allow for multiple attempts. You want to be careful about let students see their quiz responses. Again, I'm not going to go into this in detail because Hong Fu will be doing some training on this later in the week. And also with quiz restrictions, this has to do with password protecting. He will cover that as well. And again, you have due dates here for each quiz. So I'm going to put something in there and I'm going to save and publish that. I know I'm going through this awfully quick, but like I said, all of these will have training available in a separate capacity. So the last one is videos. I'm just going to show you a few different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and create a page. And I'm going to call it videos. Maybe you want to call it lecture videos, or maybe you just have different videos that you want to resource. So I'm going to click on that page and edit it. And I'd like to show you 3 different ways to embed media in a page. So the first one, on the left-hand side, second row, there's an Insert Edit Media. Here you can put a URL. You can also embed code. I'm going to grab an example. So I have this great YouTube video that was done by Sue Williams. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. So I could just copy this URL. So I'm going to put that URL in here, okay? And that will do that. You can also, I'm going to go to embed. And this is a great feature. So if you share and embed, it's going to give you this embed code. I'm going to copy that code. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just paste that right in there and hit OK. And that embed code will provide that as well. Okay, another way we can do this, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead to this one. It's called More External Tools. It's about 2/3 of the way over here on the second row, and it's like a little V or a little caret here. If I go to More External Tools, Brandon will talk about media site later. This is one way you can add media site. You can also add YouTube again. Maybe you have a course where you work on New York Times and use that for a resource. You can pull that in there. There's other ones that you can pull as well. So that's another way you can do it. This is the other option, the last option. Here, if I want to record media, then I can just go ahead and do it right here. So if my camera and microphone are on, I can just start recording myself and I can put that right into the course. Or similar to a file upload, you can do media file here, select an audio or a video file and import it into your page. So there's lots of ways to pull in video. Video is also available in feedback to students in assignments and through your speed grader. Again, I'm not going to go through that right now. I think Hong Fu might touch on that later with the gradebook and things, but I think that's it for now. One last thing, of course, we talked before about the importance of navigation. One of the most crucial things is to not overwhelm our students with all of these choices on the left-hand side. If they see all of these choices, I've been a student, I can pretty much guarantee that they're going to take the time and click on every single one of this just to make sure they're not missing out on anything. The way we've created this short course right now is that everything is in modules. Our discussions, our files, our pages, no matter what we've done, we have included those in our modules. So for that reason, we could eliminate nearly all navigation. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to slide down again. We're going to go to Settings. And on the top, yours might be on Course Details, but there's navigation up here with tabs. I want you to go to the one that says Navigation. And then we're going to eliminate some of that, the stuff on the side that we really don't need. Some of those things right off the bat, I know that very few instructors use are chat, collaborations, and conferences. So in order to hide those or disable them from the students, there's a couple ways to do it. On this page, you'll notice that the top table says drag and drop items to reorder them in course navigation. The bottom half says drag items here to hide them from students. So we can do that. We can take those conferences and we can just drag it down here. And as soon as it's down here, it's going to be hidden from students, but you can always drag it back up if you find you've made a mistake or need it later. The same way, like I mentioned, all of our pages, all of our files, all of our discussions are all in our modules already. So we don't really need them to have a separate link on the outside. Modules is very important. I'm going to drag it right up to the top. Okay. Now, one thing you have to remember when you go to this navigation page and make changes is that you do have to save it at the very bottom. So please click on the save button when you're done. Now you can see out here that those things still exist on the left, but you see this little eye that shows a cross through it, showing that students cannot view those things any longer. And again, on the right-hand side, there's this student view tool. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you can see how much cleaner and simpler this looks to the student than it did with that long list that they had to scroll down through. Oh, and one other thing, when we go back to that navigation again, I left student view, I'm going back to settings and back to navigation. If we chose to upload our syllabus as a page or, as a file or created a new page, I do not want this confusing them. So I'm also going to pull my syllabus down there. Okay. And I'm going to save that again. And now when I go back to student view, then you see that the syllabus is also hidden from their view. And this is what they will see. I think that is a really, really fast overview, and I'd like to see if there have been any questions on chat that have come up or if I can help in any way.
Trina, the only question that came up on the chat was about shuffling questions, and it looks like Laura addressed that.
Okay.
It appears that you can shuffle questions, but that's only if you use the question bank, and if you're just directly creating the questions in the quiz, then I believe it looks like you can't shuffle them. And another one just came in that talks about the advantages to using the inbox versus announcements.
And I really like that. The inbox, if you think about that mostly like email, so that's going to send that one-time notification. The announcements will show up on when they sign in to Canvas. That will also show up there, and it will save all those announcements. It is absolutely fine. If you have something important to tell your students, it is absolutely fine to do both, to send them an email and make an announcement. Laura, do you have anything to add?
Not really. I agree that doing it in both locations, then you get to confirm or know that they definitely are seeing it. We know that some students aren't really great about checking their email, right? So if it's right at the top of their course in the announcements, then it's just a good duplication. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and go over that.
Well, and I'm trying, he said, well, the emails, well, I get the emails I send out. They will be in your sent folder. And I was trying to remember if it did copy you. Do you remember, Laura, trying to remember if it actually copies you on it? I don't think it does unless you add yourself.
Does. Yeah, I think you would be able to see it in the sent, but unless you added yourself, it would not.
It does say teachers here, so I wonder if you do all. I'm thinking if you do all, it will, but you could also.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That is one I would have to look up in the Canvas help, so you stumped me. Are there any other questions that we can help you out with right now? And we can look that one up and get back with you on that one. But I will say that do remember that you do have this sent as well. So it will retain it there like your sent folder does in email, if that helps. Any other questions at all?
Trina, there's a question
you-
about creating the question bank.
Yeah, so I would say that's a pretty in-depth question. So I think what I would suggest is on the schedule of trainings to go to the one on quizzes and assignments. And sorry, I'm throwing this in front of the screen, but I wanted to see what time those were. So Canvas quizzes and exams, Hong Fu is doing that training. I see one tomorrow at 3. Oh, one tomorrow at 9 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. tomorrow. There's also a Canvas assignments. Yeah, I think those are the two that would really focus on that area. So the advantage of module over files. Files, let me just go to that. So files puts everything in alpha order, if I remember right. Is that right, Laura?
So it can, files, you can create subfolders and everything. The issue with files, it is alphabetical, and then it's very difficult to restrict what students see within files.
And here I'm kind of showing the page just so you can see. It's just not very pretty, for one thing. Modules gives a nice clean representation of your class. So I wanted to show you this page.
Yeah, it just becomes kind of unwieldy, and where modules can pull everything they need together in one place, so that if you have paper 1 is actually a PDF with instructions, and then you have an article that starts with a W, in files, they'd be all over the place. But in modules, you've pulled it all together so the student knows exactly what they need to do, everything they need to do in week 1. Or week 8, as we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see kind of in modules, it gives these little icons next to each thing. So you can see the syllabus, whether it's a page, a file, a link, those types of things. So yeah, it puts it, no matter what format it is, as long as it goes together, into a week or into a unit, whatever that navigation is or that organization is, then it will be right there for you. I hope that explained that well. Is there anything else? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let Janice close us out.
Okay, thanks everyone for attending the session. I did go in and drop in a file that lists all of the important phone numbers and websites, and we also then posted those in the chat. We really appreciate you attending the session today, and if you have additional questions after this is over or something comes up, why be sure and send those questions to gcid@kstate.edu. Our Global Campus Instructional Designers are going to be monitoring that continually. And then you can also contact the IT Help Desk via telephone or their email. Obviously, they're going to be probably really busy, so email might be your best method of getting in contact with them. And then please remember to check out the K-State Keep Teaching training sessions page. There will be, once these videos have been posted and rendered, whatever it is, we're going to go ahead and get those posted there on this site, I believe is where they're planning, or at least links over to where those will be. I don't know, Trina, have you got anything else that you want to add? Laura?
I think that's about it. Once you get the things into the chat, then I will stop the recording. I'll wait till you do that to stop the recording, unless anybody has some last things.
Okay, I just saved the chat just now, and
Okay.
I will drop in the additional links again in the chat. So I probably better save it again. Okay.
Okay, please be in touch with us if you need any help, and please make sure you go back to the training guide to see if there are other training sessions that would be advantageous to you. We appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, I guess the final thing would be we're definitely here to help and do whatever we can to navigate through the process. We're in some uncharted waters, but we're certainly willing to provide you any information and resources that we possibly